super excited to talk to you guys about Waverly chalk paint. So Waverly chalk paint is truly my favorite paint. Chalk paint does everything that you've ever heard that they say that it does. It works on all different surfaces, whether it be an old piece that you got at Goodwill, it can be varnished, it can be painted, it can be old. The greatest thing about Waverly chalk paint is you do not have to prep your surface at all. So today, that's what we're talking about. Tips, techniques, unique ways to use it, and all these amazing Waverly kits that are available at Walmart.com. So during this session, what I want you guys to know is Steven is with us. He's moderating in the chat room, and if you guys have any questions at all about the Waverly kits, he'll add the links to Walmart.com where you can find all of these fabulous kits. Just reach out to us on the chat and we'll answer any questions, or we'll get you the links that you guys need. Okay, so first I want to show you guys all of the kits that are available. Again, they're all available on Walmart.com, and what we have done we have put the perfect kits together for you. You're getting three 8-ounce bottles, which these 8-ounce bottles go so far. You can paint so much with just this 8-ounce. So we have picked color palettes that work beautifully together. We've got a blue palette, and let me just show you. This is kind of the feel of the palette. A light blue, a dark blue, and a really pretty crystal blue that almost works as a gray or a white in that kit. So that is beautiful if blue is your home decor colors. And then this kit is one of my favorites. This is just a gorgeous green, really organic kit. And you get a dark green, a light green, and always a neutral. So you get this beautiful ivory that just works beautiful with both of those colors. One of our most popular kits, it's really basic but beautiful home decor neutrals. You get the truffle, which is this beautiful dark brown. I just want to show you guys these samples because they look so different out of the bottle. And then you get this beautiful mineral, which again is a gorgeous gray, and this is a great time to show you guys. So this is mineral. This is mineral right out of the bottle, and this is mineral if you chose to buy our wax kit, and this is our clear wax over the top of it. So using the Waverly chalk paint, again, there are a million different looks that you'll get, whether you use the chalk or you use sandpaper, and I'll show you guys all of that today. But that is really a beautiful basic home decor kit. And then this one is really modern and unique. So this is black and white, but we also throw this really beautiful gray, which is elephant into this kit. So here is again a great representation. Black, distressed with the white, and then that beautiful gray. So those are our kits available on Walmart.com, and there's just a perfect color palette for everybody. So now I want to show you guys the techniques. So chalk paint, the key to chalk paint is not having to prime, not having to prep, not having to prepare your surface at all. Again, it's perfect on furniture, on glass, on tin. We've even done it on some different glass jars, baskets. It's perfect for everything. But in addition to that, it creates so many unique looks. So what I want to show you guys, this is a really good representation of using just two colors. So what I'm going to do is focus on this beautiful blue kit, the light blue, the teal, and then the crystal. These frames are all done using just this kit and the wax. So this is just the beautiful dark blue ocean with the clear wax. This is that beautiful light blue pool with the brown wax. This, for example, is using just the paint kit alone, light blue, dark blue, and then a little bit of sandpaper. And then this is the light blue and the dark blue with the block. So all four of these looks, just using two colors. That is what's so amazing about the Waverly chalk paint. Okay, so now I want to go into techniques. Base coating it is perfect, just like any acrylic paint. It goes on very, very thick. It gives usually one coat coverage, sometimes two, but it brushes on perfectly. So let me just show you. This is, I love this. This is an old vintage sconce that I found at the Goodwill for $2. And it's I don't know, it's plaster and then it was kind of aged. It's got like an antique stain on there, but I'm not going to prep it, prime it, sand it, or anything. And using the ocean blue directly out of the bottle, I just want to show you how beautifully it covers. One thing I love about these 8-ounce bottles is I dip the brush directly in to the bottle, then I don't have any waste by pouring it onto a palette. You can see how rich and creamy that Waverly chalk paint is. So I'm just going to paint this sconce. I'm going to use it as a bookend on my bookshelves, but look how beautifully that covers.
I think out of all of the kits that we're featuring today, this one is my favorite.
The blue is beautiful. I think it might be my favorite too. The green I love, but this blue is absolutely beautiful. The way the colors work together, I love so much. But I just want you guys to see how the coverage on this old vintage plaster piece that we haven't sanded or prepped at all, the coverage is just beautiful. It works with any brush, whether you like to apply it with a larger brush, a smaller brush. It even goes on with a specific chalk paint brush or a stencil brush. The application is really something that you just always are going to get perfect. It also dries very fast, which is allows you to layer color. But when you're layering color, you definitely want to let it dry completely between 2 different coats or 2 different colors. So one of the main characteristics of chalk paint is the sandability. It sands so quick, so easy, and it distresses. It creates a really fine powder, and that's what allows you to distress it. So I want to show you the basic characteristics of Waverly chalk paint. So this was just an old frame. I think it was, let me see if you guys can see, a really vintage gold. It had some cracks, some age on it. And I base coated that with our Waverly chalk paint kit that comes in green, celery moss, and that ivory. I chose the moss. I just love that color. So let it dry completely, and then I want to show you guys how easy it is to sand. So most acrylic paints, you'd really have to work at it to reveal what's underneath and to reveal a distressed finish. But the characteristic of the chalk paint is look how beautifully and how quickly that sands. Can you guys see that? I'm going to hold that up just a little. See how it just lets what was the original frame color, which is kind of that vintage antique gold, it allows that to show through.
It really does only take like one swipe with this
paper. Yeah, it's amazing. Because if this was acrylic paint, you could get it off there, but you'd really have to work. You'd have to work for a minute. And if it was like a home decor latex paint, you'd have to work a whole lot harder. But you can sand it, just medium grit sandpaper. You can sand it a few times to just get a really soft distress, or a little bit more if you want to reveal more. But it just allows you to create so many different looks. And this is where you would layer the chalk paint. So you could do the light green underneath, let that dry, the celery, and then you could let that dry. Then you could do the moss on the top, let that dry, and then what would happen is your celery would come through. And you can layer as many different colors as you like to get the look that is perfect for your home decor. But see how beautiful and vintage that is, allowing it to just have some age and some character. And you can see it just sands to a really soft powder that's really easy to wipe up and clean off. So that's the very basic technique with the Waverly chalk paint. So what I want to do is show you all of those techniques, but really allow us to compare them by using these 4 frames. Okay, so the first 2 I'm going to do is light distressing. This is exactly what we did, but we revealed the gold on the green frame. This is back to our blue kit. I'm only using these 2 beautiful colors, Ocean and Pool. I base coated with the light blue. I let that dry. I top coated it with the dark blue. And now I want to show you guys how I'm revealing two colors as opposed to the underneath surface. So just same medium grit sandpaper. Stephen's right. You barely have to sand to reveal those beautiful colors. But you can see it lifts the dark blue and it reveals that light blue that's underneath. So that's just basic distressing with two colors of Waverly chalk paint. And that's just so beautiful. One color, the dark blue, and then you sand. Okay. Another great technique. This is something that we use so much here. We use this in furniture. Furniture, it gives you the biggest wow moment. I want you guys to see this dresser behind me. So this is done with the block technique that I'm going to show you guys right now. So while I'm doing that technique, I want you guys to take a peek at that dresser behind because it makes distressing large pieces so quick and easy. So this frame, all I did was paint it this light blue color. Pull, let that dry completely, and then using an old scrap piece of wood. I keep all these different sizes always at my studio table. Little ones for small projects. Maybe I've got one for one color. I almost treat them like brushes. Just wipe them with a paper towel and use them again and again. So I'm going to put that dark blue, a little bit of that ocean, just onto a paper plate, and just a little bit. And then to load the block, I'm going to use this little one because this frame is just a small little project. The trick to loading this little wooden block is you pounce into the paint and then you just remove a little bit of it. Not all of it, but you pounce in and then you just pounce a little bit to the side. You want a good amount of paint on there, but you don't want it dripping off your little wooden block. And then the key to this is very light-handed. You don't want to mash down and almost create a stripe or a pattern on your project. And you also always want to follow the natural lines on your project. So for this frame, you would never want to go in a back and forth pattern or a circular pattern. You want to follow the edges or the natural lines of your project. So light-handed and following the lines. You just place that on there and just skim across the surface, picking up paint as you need it. But you can see how that block just jumps on different sections of your project, creating a really organic, natural, distressed look, but a lot heavier than if you were to use the traditional technique of just sandpaper. This is one of my very favorite techniques. It looks like it sat outside and weathered like old barnwood, where the paint has peeled maybe. And then, again, following the natural line of your project, whether it be a dresser or a frame, you just lightly skim across each section of your project. But because your hand is really light, the paint is very uneven, which makes it very natural. You don't want to mash down and create a stripe. But you get that beautiful weathered look. Same two colors, but a completely different look. That's what I love so much. So with these kits, you only get 3 colors, but you get all of these possibilities. I love when they're next to each other. I love the comparison. Okay, so that's basic sanding, which is beginning level of using Waverly chalk paint. This is using a wooden block. And then let me show you the wax. The wax is so exciting. So in the kit available at walmart.com, you get light and dark wax. You get the clear wax and you get the antique wax. They both work completely different, but just have such good characteristics. So let me show you this. So the wax not only creates a different look, but it also seals your project. So it gives it a really smooth, almost a matte satin feel, and protects it and just gives it that finished look. Okay, so on this one, we keep using Stephen's favorite, the blue kit, and that is the dark blue ocean is what I base coated this frame with, and then this one with the pool. And I want to show you the dark wax and the clear wax. So the clear wax, depending on how much you use, you can use just a little bit with a damp brush, and then it works more as a sealer. It does not really alter the color of your project that much. It just protects it and finishes it. But if you use it directly out of the bottle, it creates this really almost a milky, kind of a distressed vintage look by going into the nooks and crannies of your project. So just using, again, whatever paintbrush you're comfortable with, I am just going to brush that over my dry base-coated project. A little goes a long way, but you just want to make sure it gets in all those little nooks and crannies. And then what you will do is you will let that dry. And then once it's dry, you will buff it to a really smooth finish. But you can see by adding that clear wax, you just change the look of the paint and create just another unique, different look. So that will dry overnight, and then what you would do is buff it with just a soft cotton cloth, and it would give you that really unique finish. All right, and then the brown wax is exactly the same concept. The brown wax, I always emphasize with people, this brown is really, really dark, but depending on how you use it, there's so many different looks that you can get. I want to show you guys this frame. So this frame is using the same kit from Waverly on Walmart.com, but this is that lightest blue, that light crystal. The frame was painted in that, and then it was antiqued with the dark wax, but with very little wax, a very damp brush, and probably 50% water, 50%, half and half, equal parts water and equal part wax to get this really soft brown vintage finish.
I just want to take this moment, sorry Kirsten.
No, absolutely.
To remind everyone who's watching that I have just put the link to all these kits in the chat, and it is also featured at the very top. If you're having trouble finding it, it's just pinned there. So if you go to the top of the chat, you can find the link and pick up these kits for yourself at walmart.com.
Perfect. Thanks, Stephen. Okay, so this is the brown wax, and all I'm doing is wetting my brush and creating a much softer brown finish. Right out of the bottle is a really dark, rich stain color, but by adding a little bit of water to it, you just get a softer brown. And then I'm doing the exact same thing that I did with the clear. I'm just brushing that on the dried Waverly chalk paint, allowing it to get into all those little details of this frame. And the brown wax, you can really do two different things with it, with either wax really, but you'll see the contrast more with the brown wax. You can leave it like this if that's a look and a color that you like, and then you can buff it once it's dry, or if you want to reveal a little bit more of that beautiful pool blue, while your wax is still wet, cover that frame. So while your wax is still wet, you can take a dry cloth and just kind of rub just as much off until you get the desired look. So you still have all of that vintage distressing, but then you've got a little bit more feel of that pool blue coming through. I'm going to wipe even more off to show you. Like you can even leave it built up just in the cracks or the details, whether it be a dresser or a frame, and then buff almost most of the wax off of some of the areas, which is such a beautiful look, because then you just get more of that pool blue, but still that really unique vintage feel. Okay. Stephen, any questions on these really basic techniques?
Not on these techniques. I think everybody's enjoying, Kirsten.
So I want to show you guys now that we've completed the frames, just again, so you can see the variety of different looks that you can get with this Waverly chalk paint. Traditional 2 colors and sanding, 2 colors with a little wooden block to get just a heavier chipped paint feel. And then the same blue, this is what I love so much, same blue color using either the brown wax or the clear wax. So these 4 looks with just 2 bottles or 2 colors of paint. I absolutely love to compare the different finishes that you can do. Okay, well, let me set those over there. I wanted to show you guys, this is the Waverly chalk paint. I think I mentioned in the beginning, it works perfect on so many different surfaces. Furniture, glass, tin, baskets. But this was just a simple mason jar that I painted solid with the gray. I let it dry completely. And then just using medium grit sandpaper, you can see how easy, see the dust that comes off, a soft powder, easy to clean up. But you can just sand and reveal pieces of the mason jar. So you get the glass coming through. And that is just such another real popular farmhouse look using the Waverly chalk paint. But I want you guys to see how just one color even creates such a unique finish. Okay, I'm going to show you some more just to really give you a feel. I know we focused on the blue, the palette that Stephen and I like the best, but I want to show you guys just how beautiful all of the different kits are. So this is the Waverly kit that includes the plaster, the mineral, and the truffle. So a really dark brown, a really beautiful tan that really is a gray, and then always a neutral, whether it be plaster, white, ivory, but 3 colors that work beautifully together. So this is the truffle. It dries to that beautiful dark brown finish. And then what we did, the wood block works on so many different surfaces. It doesn't have to be a flat dresser front. It doesn't have to be a flat frame. It can work as beautiful on a candlestick. So I'm just going to take the plaster and pour that onto my plate. Got to remove that seal. Just a little bit, because when you use that block, you need very little paint. And I'm going to use a bigger block this time for no reason. I'm going to dip that in. Remember, all you have to do is dip it into the paint, but then remove a little bit next to your paint because you don't want it dripping off of there. You want a lot of paint, but not too much. And a round surface like this, again, the only key, it's always the same tips. You don't want to go back and forth. You don't want to go in a circular motion. You want to follow the natural lines of your surface. So I'm going to just start on the base and just allow that to skim on the natural line of that candlestick. Oh gosh, Stephen, you can see it's so good. I love the contrast of the white and the brown. And then the same with this curved surface. I'm just going to follow the lines of the surface, but allowing the block, because I have very little pressure applied, allowing the block to almost jump and skip across the surface, because you don't want to create a line by mashing down or applying too much pressure. You can get a really heavy distress with this block technique, or you can get a really soft, light technique or distressing. I'm going to do a little bit on all the areas that would naturally weather. But you can see it's really organic, it's really natural, like paint peeled off of it after years and years. And then you've got this beautiful set of candlesticks that would just be perfect for any home decor. So that is the brown kit, and actually what I'm going to do, I think we're on overhead. I'm going to lay that like that. I just want you guys to see the feel of that beautiful palette. Both gray, browns, a little bit of undertones of the gray, the natural. You just have such a beautiful palette. And this is truffle, mineral, and plaster. And all 3 8-ounce bottles. So that's a gorgeous neutrals. Okay, let me show you guys a little bit that we've done. Well, actually, the best project that we've done is this dresser in the back, this basket. Let's see, what else have we done? I think those are our main. Oh, but actually the frame that I showed you guys in the beginning, this is such a beautiful representation of the green. The green Waverly kit, I think I said in the beginning, is really one of our most populars. And this is ivory as your neutral, moss is that beautiful darker green, and then celery. So with these 3 colors, you get all of these beautiful finishes. The ivory over the dark green, and you just get so much variety, just like what I showed you guys with the blue. You can see the lighter and the green complement each other just beautifully. Okay, so that's our green kit. And then our black and white kit, I think I showed you, just really modern. Black and white is so popular right now, just as a home decor color scheme. And so in this kit, you get the black and the gray. I wanted to show you guys the difference. This is the gray distressed with the white and the black distressed with the white. So all of the techniques we did with the blue can be done exactly the same using this beautiful kit. White, elephant, and ink. And then our blue kit, which we've done a lot of samples with, but just to show you guys again, you get everything from a really rich navy, a really pretty, almost a robin's egg blue, and then you get that beautiful crystal blue, which this actually has the brown wax on it, but it's just another beautiful neutral using both pool, ocean, and crystal. We've really done some research to make sure that these colors work so beautifully together, complement each other, but also give you so much space for variety, so many different options when you're painting with these projects. All of them are available at walmart.com, and the wax kit is something that works beautifully with all of these different colors. It works perfect on the whites and the blacks. It works perfect on the blues and the greens. So the wax kit complements all of these kits. So, Stephen, do we have any questions?
I think we're caught up. I know
all...
some people said they have trouble finding Waverly products at their Walmart locations, but I promise you they're online, and I just dropped the link again
Okay, perfect.
in the chat, so you can get it at walmart.com.
So go to the link, walmart.com. The kits work good together. You can combine the blue with the green, the wax with all of them, and they're all available. We just checked. So go to the link above. They're all available on walmart.com, and Waverly Chalk Paint is one of the most absolute best paints for so many of your homes.